Welcome back, one and all, for Dreamworks Dungeons and Dragons. I'm so excited to be your Dungeon Master. Let's introductions. We all know each other, but of course, in no particular order, as you're popping up on my screen, we got Shane as Megamind, we have Lincoln as Jack Frost, we have Alicia as Jim Lake Jr., we have Braxton as RJ, and Elle as Puss in Boots, joining in a bit. Dreamworks is so fun, gang. I'm so excited to be back. The holiday break is always so long, but it's so fun. Last we saw you guys, crazy stuff out of the Library of Roots, where each of you found these intricate library books and tomes of knowledge, quite helpful for your quest. You also were able to recover this old artifact called the Trowel, which seems to hold a wish spell inside. Again, you guys are starting to really gather these powerful artifacts, which can do a lot of good or a lot of damage. Coming up out of the library, though, you did all realize after your encounters in the library that a lot of time has passed, that whatever the library is, time and space bent, very much like we would see in like the Feywilds and Shadow Realm, where on the surface, it is a war zone. Apparently, the general of Volinar, the general Runar Iliriel, has apparently betrayed the city, tampered with the canopy barrier, and they've been spending the last many months in this huge battle, like slowly losing ground every couple of months. You guys, though, Jack Frost immediately making your way to the shop where you found charred dead body of an elf clutching the last delivery box that they were able to fulfill, with your name on it to get those boots flying, along with the rest of you with your stuff that you gained from the Elven City, making the plans with now what used to be the captain of the guard, Rolam, this elven guy who seemed pretty amicable to you guys as adventurers, explaining a bit of the scenario. A plan was formed to make Tyrannosaurus Jim, this really fun combo move, basically, where RJ and Megamind, your magic and technology were able to craft Jim Lake Jr. into a dinosaur with the ability to smite bite, with, of course, Jack Frost and Dragon giving that aerial support, and Puss in Boots now having started the process of becoming more of a cleric of death rather than a paladin, heading into the eye of the storm against Actius, this calamity of tornado that has been just destroying everything in North America. You guys made your way into battle, fighting a hard-won fight against the strongest of the calamities, but in the end able to down this creature before you all suffered too many ill effects. And indeed, as the calamity is destroyed, Jim, your sword that you've seen so many times, creatures you kill with daylight erupt in blue flames and sparking celestial radiance as they explode into the Ethereum. Truly, with daylight, he is forever dead, which is such a nice help. All of you immediately notice the tornado around you is starting to dissipate and slow. The natural winds coming from the North American mountains, moving everything off in every which direction in these fall months. You guys, we are picking right back up here. Everyone is looking really, really worse for wear in terms of just like spell slots having been used, different stuff, because again, we didn't get a long rest from the library. It was kind of that like we rushed right into this battle. What I would ask is for the Union, for our party here, how is everyone feeling? Obviously, hit point wise it varies because some people got healing, some people didn't, but what are you guys doing now that the demons have dissipated, Actius the Calamity is dead, and now there's kind of this half a moment of breath?
I'm not breathing because we still got that other guy to worry about, Sloth, and I remind everyone of that. As I say, we should go to the car and leave.
Yeah, we definitely don't. I don't have the chutzpah to fight him right now. I'm on death's door. So.
Yeah.
I'm doing great.
He apparently is on his way.
Yes, Sloth, unable to move on his own, what you would actually know, Roland would fill you. Sloth is carried around on a sedan, but pulled by other demons. Again, Sloth doesn't move. Like, he is what we could call, like, the closest equivalent to a bastardized prophet of a sin. Like, this is a demon that was given power and a mark to represent one of the higher demons still sealed away. And so Sloth, this, like, champion of Sloth, is heading your way. But indeed, like was discussed last time, of let's take out the Calamity and let's leave. Let's not hopefully get trapped by Sloth or any other ill effects. Yeah, because Jim Lake Jr., you thankfully are looking much better hit points, because you only really had to deal with when your Tyrannosaurus form dropped. But basically everyone else in the party has taken quite a few hit points. RJ's still looking pretty okay, but definitely there's some people that have really been
always look good after Friday.
Yeah. Isn't Dragon gone right now?
Yes.
Did he get de-summoned?
Dragon was...
Okay, I'm going to rematerialize him then. I'm going to pull him back as his regular form again.
Excellent. You watch, Jack, you kind of pull in the snow, earth, a lot of just the natural elements of the world as your magic swirls to create Dragon once more. What I'm quickly going to check, because there's something I wanted to see in your summoning of Dragon.
It costs a spell.
It does cost a
the first
spell.
level slaughter higher.
But it is a action to summon him. Okay, I was like, I didn't think it took like a while, but I could never remember which subclasses have that, like, over the course of an hour. It's something you can kind of do as you guys move, yeah.
Yeah, it just wasn't while we were in Mortal Kombat.
Yes. Yeah, not worth it when, like, everything's going wrong.
Exactly.
What I would ask, real quick, gang, as you guys are immediately that pick up, brush yourselves off, and it is that, like, we gotta go. There's a lot happening that we can't afford to be caught up in. I do need, I'm going to call this a stealth check, just because there is something going on that you might be spotted, but not spotted in the regular sense of, like, people seeing you. There's just stuff that's going on in this area.
Would you say that my Pass Without Trace from last session is still active? Has it been an hour?
I believe
there's no way.
Yeah, Pass Without Trace
It's
is dropped.
concentration, never mind.
Yeah,
No,
it is also concentration. Yeah, I'm like, I think it was, because again, it was the hour when you guys got to the Calamity. It helped you avoid all the armies around. Now it is kind of that, like, not in a bad way fresh, but there is a lot happening.
Okay. I'll use one of my remaining third-level spell slots to cast Pass Without a Trace, even though it's a second-level spell.
I like it. Yeah, it's that, like, kind of that worth it of let's make sure we are good to go.
Thanks, RJ.
Right? Yes.
Okay, cool. I got 18
That's a 22 stealth from me.
Plus 10.
plus 10. That's 28.
That's a very different number.
It's a very different number.
That wildly different number.
Yeah.
All right. This is looking pretty good.
27.
27, and Jack Frost 22, 36, and 28. Really high rolls, gang. This is looking really good. I just have to check something real quick.
Just have to check the perception of a sloth.
Oh, fun fact, it is not Sloth I'm checking, actually. There is something else that's arriving, for lack of a better term. Yeah. You guys, I will let you know, you have passed a stealth check, but all of you will immediately be aware something is teleporting to this location. And I will even say, like, RJ passing Pass Without a Trace, as you all, like, kind of take that moment of, like, hiding behind one of the natural, like, rocks and earth and roots that have been disrupted due to the storm, all of you can hide and watch as appearing out of, if not to use too much of that, like, Marvel look, but, like, it very much is when space and time kind of, like, ripple open around when someone uses, like, that space stone. you see flashes of multicolored light rend and ripple around as stepping out into basically where the calamity died, like this ashen spread mark of the demon. All of you see an angel step through. That as this angel steps in with very close-cut white hair, longer on top, that's like kind of swept back to pull over to both sides. This angel, all of you can tell, is in the finest raiment and armor that you've seen from most of them. The only other angels you've seen kind of comparable to like the medallions and stuff would be Gabriel, when Gabriel shows up in armor. Gabriel has been starting to show up in just like, I don't want to say street clothes, but he has been acclimating more to like people. But this angel is very war decorated. And as they step out, their passive perception isn't high enough for what you guys got, but you see they are stepping out and the angel looks around as if they're expecting someone to be here. Say hello to Maddie on the other camera. I love that, like, awkward, we're all like, hello, what's up?
So this angel's looking around like somebody's here. Or they're expecting somebody to be here.
Exactly. Expect that, like, you know, it's like, hey, I was told to come here, or something to that effect, and I'm not seeing anyone, even with, like, maybe whatever sight they've got going on.
Because we know we're not exactly on the side of the angels either, right? I think Jack would vote that we just continue skedaddling and don't be found.
Okay, I mean, I'm curious. Here's an option. We could, one of us, I'm suggesting myself, goes out and confronts the dude while the rest kind of like slip away, and then I just kind of join you guys later. That way, like, if it is dangerous, I could do shenanigans, get away.
Not opposed.
That's a pretty good idea. I will just say, though, RJ, you are the one right now with the Pass Without a Trace, and so that might be helpful if you were with more of the, like, the entire group, just because everyone else would lose that kind of ability once they got closer to the city.
I pull out my wish spell.
Oh my God.
I wish for Pass Without a Trace.
I'm just saying, I have some spell slots left. I could get away, I think, fairly well if things do go to crap. And, like, what we could do is, like, get you guys off out of sight and running away, and then I go and talk to them.
But I wanted some of those ashes.
I know, that is true. Megamind wanted to try to scoop up some of the residuum, which would be really helpful.
Yeah.
Okay,
I wanted to do that before things stopped, but we didn't have time. I also wanted that wing.
Here's what I will say, because yes, right now, there is the Calamity Wing is still on the ground. That kind of spoils of war that wasn't destroyed as it wasn't connected to the Calamity when it died. So there's the wing and the ash on the ground. And again, right now, you guys, I will say, the Pass Without a Trace is working, and you know it's the Enochian amulets that are also that, like, let alone the high perception, even if this creature has stuff like True Sight or fun spells, the Enochian amulet really does a solid job of protecting you unless you're wanting to be seen, right? Think of, like, shadow travel.
I would like to roll, like, stealth to go and steal all of the things.
Gotcha.
Get them into the bag of holding.
Okay.
And then, if I don't get caught, we could just leave.
Got it. It's that, like, go gather the supplies that Megamind wants, and then if everything's going great, we could leave.
Please.
Okay. How about I steal everything while you guys go away, and I talk to them. Worst thing that happens, I go vicious form and get the fetch out of there.
Yeah.
You got a point.
It's a solid plan, actually.
Okay, I'm down for that. That way Megamind still gets his ashes.
It's like that way we get a lot of these great material components, but it's helpful, like, we're not all staying, because again, you aren't really on the side of the angels. Like, you guys have started noticing heaven and hell are having a lot of inner disputes, even amongst themselves. Go ahead then. What I would say is, right now, for the party, we're not going to deal with needing, like, any stealth checks yet, just because you're already seeing, with the Calamity dead, there's immediate, like, dissension in the ranks. Kind of that, like, Sloth is a higher level general, but when the higher, like, the lieutenant is gone, there's not a lot of great order going on. So you're not in too terrified of a place of, like, we gotta make constant stealth checks. If you guys all slip off, I will say, RJ, go ahead, make me that stealth check. You got Pass Without a Trace up, and just, like, start gathering the stuff as we form this plan here.
Okay. A 35.
35 is excellent. RJ, as Megamind kind of whispered, like, and yeah, Megamind's like, okay, let's get some of the ash, let's grab the wing, like, kind of giving this, like, shopping list to RJ. RJ, you are scuttling through, and it really is that, like, as you're moving, like, rock to rock, underneath the shadows, bit of magic here and there, scooping up into, like, little pouches and vials, you will notice that the angel here, on, like, a passive insight, seems very stressed. Like, it's one of those, the face of this angel is very calm, not showing a lot of emotion, but there is a very severe, like, tension in, like, the eyebrows and cheeks of that, like, this angel, he is trying to keep himself very composed, as there's a lot of stuff going on, because he was coming here, whether for the Calamity, whether for you guys, whether for just who knows what, and it's very stressful for this angel. You think right now of something's not going right. As you're pulling in all the items, RJ, I will give, the angel naturally will, like, notice the wing disappear, because that's, like, something, he won't see you, but that, like, well, one moment the wing was here, and now it's not. So,
That's right.
the angel's just, again, looking around, you see maybe, like, trying to see stuff. What would you like to do, RJ, as this is all going on?
Do I know if angels can do... Actually, no, that's a stupid idea. I will temporarily... well, first of all, does this angel have wings?
Right now, no, but you've noticed, like, angel wings, like, they kind of, like, bamf them out in battle. Like, if we know the Azamar stats, that, like, their wings kind of appear when they need them. For the most part, when they're not, or at least the angels you've seen, they kind of take on a more humanoid form.
Okay. I will sneak up and get, like, right behind it and be like, so what do you want?
As you do so, you see relief breaks on this creature's face as, like, oh good, someone is here. I'm
the only survivor.
As I'm the only one. It's me.
I'm dead.
You see the angel smiles, that kind of small grin of, the amulets do serve you well. I was nervous I had missed you all. To whom do I have the pleasure of speaking with?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, you see, it just says, to whom do I have the pleasure of speaking with?
A champion. So what do you want?
You see the angel stops. I do not suppose you are the... And you see he stops, maybe, like, trying to, like, think through, like, the information he knows. You do not carry yourself as the troll hunter. Could you be the small one that is allied with death?
Yes, that is me. What can I do for you?
I love it. As you put on the Puss in Boots accent, that, like, yes. You see the angel just stops. Well, I couldn't help but notice that when the most powerful demon in the plane was destroyed by one of the Seraphim blades, I had hoped that we had located Jim Lake Jr.
Okay, you broke up a little bit there, August.
Oh, no worries. You see, he says, when we felt the Calamity's death, we had assumed we had found Jim Lake Jr., as only a Seraphim blade could have killed a creature like that. But are you one of this creature's companions?
He took a sick day.
You'll see, we ought to have one of those now. They're really a dime a dozen here.
You don't have an angel blade, my guy? As the angel stops. Yeah.
I can take a message.
You see, he goes, please do. I was hoping for a message in the first place. My name is Michael, and I have a offer for the Troll Hunter. Let the Troll Hunter know that I would like to meet with him face to face. None of the champions, none of the hosts of heaven, just the two of us. He may choose the time and place, and I give you my word as an angel, bound upon the stars and my celestial being, that no harm will come to Jim Lake Jr. I simply wish for 10 minutes to talk with him.
Interesting. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna need, like, a token or, like, something to kind of show that you are on, like, maybe a feather.
Oh my god.
You see, he goes, I can give you something that should help prove my authenticity. You see Michael reaches into his armor like a pocket, and he brings out a rather intricate looking ring. RJ, this is the wish ring that Death had, that Jim gave to Claire, that Death took back. You see Michael pulls out the ring. Would this buy me an audience? 10 minutes, nothing more.
I think that might convince him.
You see Michael smiles, because again, he doesn't see you. You're noticing, like, he places
a raccoon paw up here.
just in front of his face. Yeah, you see Michael just places it in front of him, kind of watch it. Again, the ring disappears. Inoki and Amulet doing his work of, like, I don't want to be seen. Let's not be. Again, we're not in combat. He can't find me. Michael places the ring and just... Let the Troll Hunter know I would very much like to meet within the next few hours, if that suits his need. But all you need to do, let him know simply to take off the amulet. I will find him, and after 10 minutes he may put it on, and I will not be able to find him. And again, and I will say, RJ, you get the arcanic impression. The angel keeps making these, like, larger oaths. You actually do think he might have some very severe, like, penalties to himself if he doesn't follow his own orders, if that makes sense. You've kind of heard that angels are really bound by some of these things. And Michael is very much saying, like, no other angels, no other champion. Like, I'm not bringing anything but myself, just Jim and I, just a one-on-one. And he's offering the wish ring as a token to prove, like, he's serious, if that makes sense.
Except he promised only not to hurt Jim. Says nothing about not destroying his armor.
That has me a little concerned.
Yeah, but I have a plan, guys. Anyways.
Yeah, no, I like it.
So, I will just wordlessly leave. I'm not going to give any confirmation.
Yeah. Just...
And, like, here, I'll ask him a question, be like, just whatever, just something that requires somewhat of an explanation, and then I leave before I even hear the answer.
Yeah, as
I just
Michael...
want him to be talking
something
for a
of...
little bit.
you can be assured, champion, that you are godlike, immediately just like taking off, scamper. All of you would notice when Pass Without Trace comes back around you, like, as you guys are moving forward towards the city, seeing the armies in disarray, that, like, okay, are we about to start stealthing? Shadows and, like, nature magic swirls around your feet as all of you notice RJ come back into your presence.
To the car.
Because we drove the car close to the guy, but not all the way out, so...
Yeah.
Indeed, as the Oracle predicted, the very first gate that you come to on the outskirts of the city has your car in it. Like, you guys walk into the gate, and there's that immediate, like, well, if the car was right in the middle of the gate, like where we parked it, it would have been destroyed. And, like, off to the side in, like, a shed that, like, demons have left by because they just have no need for, you got Megamind, like, hits the car alarm, and you see the headlights flash. Just as the Oracle said, park it here, you would need it. All of you can immediately hop in the car. Puss in Boots, RJ, Jim Lake Jr., Jack Frost, Megamind, piling in. As RJ, you can immediately start showing Megamind you got the dust, you got the wing, and yeah, what would you like to tell everyone about what you saw?
Okay, so, I need to talk to Jim.
Me?
Yes. So, we're going to
from the city.
Bag of holding for a second.
Just like have a private conversation. Here, Jim, get in the sprinkle
I
can.
just like, I'm a Jim and hop in myself. I'm like, okay. First of all, the angel wants to talk to you.
Okay.
It's Michael.
Oh, is he important?
I don't know. I think he's like one of the lower level angels. But it seems important.
Okay.
He wants to talk to you alone. As in,
Suspicious.
we don't bring any of the other champions, and he's sworn like a bunch of oaths not to bring any other angels.
Okay.
And as a token of good faith, he may have given me this.
What?
So here you go.
Thanks.
Jim, once again, you are now holding your engagement ring, and now you have a wedding ring from King Gallon of the Elves. So it's like you've got both now. It's not like, okay, that's nice.
Wait, am I engaged to an angel now? Like,
No. No.
Jim, you pick this up. I will let you know, no need even for identify. It's like, this is definitely that same ring with that older metals and gems set into it, Jim. As RJ, you're kind of starting to feel Jim, and I would say, Megamind, do you want to start, like, taking the car anywhere, or is it that, like, do you want to, like, idle here a bit, like, until we get more of a plan, or is it, like, let's maybe start driving somewhere to get a better, like, scope of the field?
It was just away from the city.
Mm-hmm. You into drive, start taking off down these roads lined with demonic bodies, elves, catapults, like just driving through like the remnants. Again, it's that even though the demons and devils are dead or, you know, in disarray, the elves are no place to like rally for some triumphant return. Like, they are probably still very much partitioned off in the edge of the city, in the third ring. They're not ready to go. And Megamind, as you start driving that like 15-20 minutes until you are, and I would probably say like the opposite direction of wherever the angel and the calamity you guys were fighting, just like let's make sure just to head anywhere else. As RJ, you keep filling Jim Lake Jr. in on what happened with Michael.
So basically, I explained that he wants you to take off your amulet at a certain point and talk for 10 minutes, and then you put it back on and you're good. And there's some exploitable loopholes in the proposition he's given us. First of all, don't bring any champions. Easy. We'll be on another plane of existence. It's called the Bag of Holding. We won't be there at all. We won't even be close to there. But Also, this is incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, no, I'm picking up on that.
But hey, you got a ring of wishes. We don't need to go.
No, what do you think he might want? I mean, my thought is he wants whatever he might want with the next seal of heaven, and that makes me kind of skeptical to bring it so close to someone who has ulterior motives for it.
Yeah, he could write us a letter, send it to our P.O. box in New York City. We'll check it in 7 to 10 business days.
Go ahead, actually, Jim Lake Jr., could you give me an insight check? Because I think there's a lot of that natural, like, I always love, like, if you, the player, think it, your character knows it, and I think you're right, of, like, it's very troublesome to think of, let's not bring a seal to someone who we know has ulterior motives.
Would you like guidance?
Yes, please. I rolled really bad.
Yeah, take a guidance. So it's that, like,
Roll that.
what...
That should be 4.
Yeah.
Hey, that's got it above a 10. It's an 11.
11. I think on the 11, you're going to get kind of that, like, really good knowledge, or just that, like, what most people would get. By Michael being here, again, this was not the lower angels. Like, you guys have dealt with, like, angels and archangels, like Balthazar, right? What we would know as the first and second layers of heaven, these very basic peons, almost. That sounds terrible to call them that, but, like, there was never, like, any... oh, we're dealing with big stuff. Michael is the top. I mean, he is the leader of the hosts, right? Like, you guys know this, like, Gabriel even has to answer to Michael. It's what really limits Gabriel as this, like, very powerful NPC for the parties of, like, Michael can give him orders, and unless Gabriel can figure out the loopholes or the caveats, it's hard for him to do a lot. And so on 11, it's that Michael being here means he is willing to be vulnerable almost to this, of, like, he personally is wanting to talk. And on top of that, I think on the 11, even with him giving you this specific ring, he's got to understand then the importance of who you have given this ring to and what the ring means to you personally. That, like, not like that, oh no, he knows I gave it to Claire because of but that, like, this isn't like a token of, like, a wing or, like, here, take something very important to me, Michael. It's, I know this is something that really can capture your attention. What would you think about it? What, like, I know that you know this is important. So, like, he thinks this is, like, not like a, aha, Jim will take my deal to talk with me, but, like, this is probably the highest ship he could possibly play right now. Save it be, like, huge stuff.
He really wants...
Yeah, once again,
Is there a reason we're having a conversation in the bag of holding?
I don't know. Do you trust the other people?
Well, I would like their opinions on it.
I mean, that's fair, but Poseidon's is kind of shady.
Oh my gosh.
Jim Lake Jr.'s head pops out of the Pringles can. Megamind Jack, you see, like, they clamber out. Like, I thought you were doing just in that, like, in case someone was listening. Like, but no, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys hop out. Yeah, what do you want to, like, bring to the party of, like, in getting people's opinions?
We should not spill every in case there are people listening, but I doubt there will be with the Enochian Army.
Yeah, you're good.
So, that was Michael, leader of the host of heaven. RJ says that he wants to talk to me, and he's proved that he's incredibly genuine about that. And he also says that Michael swore a bunch of oaths to not bring any other people with him, and that I don't bring any of the champions with me.
I will say, you are not sworn by an oath.
This is true. I'm not sworn by an oath.
Mm-hmm. That was just what Michael asked.
Sorry?
That was just...
Clarifying that is just what Michael swore and asked. Like, you're technically not disallowed from, like, bringing people or doing stuff.
Yeah, so he really, really wants to meet. I'm torn.
So,
what do you guys think?
If you do go, don't bring the armor.
Don't bring the armor? The amulet is still going to be with me, even if I'm not wearing the armor.
You could put it in the bag of holding, right?
Yeah.
The point is to not bring the item which he wants to destroy to unleash the third seal, or the fourth seal, or whatever seal it is.
You
to
make a
not
good
bring
point.
it to him.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like, you can show up to the meeting without the thing that he probably wants from you the most. And if his ulterior motive was to not harm you, but to break the amulet, which technically doesn't harm you, then...
That's really smart.
Mm-hmm.
I like
and
that.
more for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, wanted to say he doesn't want any other champions there, but we could easily not be there by being in the bag of holding. And
Yeah, which I think I would want, because I don't really want to face off with Michael without you guys in my corner.
also, Jack Frost, I think you're muted.
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
You're still not.
Uh-oh.
Dude, there's no audio coming from you.
That's-
Gotcha. Text it, message it. Yeah, you're good. You're good. I will say what Megamind's bringing up, kind of like even what RJ was suggesting earlier too, of if we can leave the amulet behind, or take this idea of like there's a lot of safer ways to do this, especially noting that
I'm back.
Yay! There we go.
But
Being so weird. I was not muted. It just wasn't participating. Anywho, my question is champion a term that has been applied to you guys while I was gone? Because I have not heard that. I wouldn't consider myself a champion. It's not a term I've heard or heralded. So if I were to just go with you, we wouldn't be breaking what he asked.
Yeah,
I'm like 90% sure session 1 is when that
We don't
happened.
call this
it's
champions.
the idea of you were labeled champions back session 1, but it's Jack Frost the idea of this loophole of I haven't been doing this for months, right? Like there's been a lot. So again, it's kind of the whole idea of Jim Lake Jr. never promised this anyway, having this... Again, I will say, you guys are catching on as a DM, there was a lot of loopholes in Michael's message that can be used in that sense. Like, and I think you would even think Michael may have known this too. Like, he didn't bring a contract. He's not a devil with, like, the very fine details. It was more of that, like, here's a really, like, open thing that he probably expects you guys to, like, tamper with, but not in like any way that he will distrust. That I'm okay with that. Like it's just seeing what you guys do then.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he wanted this to happen in the next couple hours, if I'm remembering correctly, DM.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it can happen.
I say those couple hours will stretch into 8 hours, and we long rest first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
But also, when we leave the amulet, it has to have somebody with an Enochian amulet next to it, or holding it.
Yeah.
You can't just, like, leave it in the car, because then they'll immediately be able to be like, oh, they left it.
Yeah,
Boom, there it is.
Wait, speaking of the car, why don't we all just stay in it, windows rolled up, except for Jim Lake Jr., and just... Because it won't be able to see us because of the amulets, right? So we can just chill in the car as Jim chat.
I love that. Then I'm not bringing with me. You guys brought me to meet him, right?
We're your Uber that refused to leave.
Dude,
I honestly think the bag of holding is a better idea than that.
Yes.
Yeah, you can use your access. You can act of your own accord to get out of the car.
Yeah, but all it takes is you turning the bag of holding, like, just open the bag of holding, you know, and out pop this. Stabby bit. Oh.
I will say, like, first and foremost, very much what Megamind and RJ were thinking. Go ahead, let's take a long rest. I think it's that, like, this discussion is happening, like, while Megamind's driving everyone to a safe location, like, we're getting out of there. Go ahead, click the long rest buttons. That's easy for everyone to accomplish right now in the time you have while we're, like, confirming these final details.
To change up spells.
Yeah.
And remind me, because I think I was gone when it became relevant, Jim Lake Jr., what is your special amulet? How is that different than our Enochian amulets?
So, The amulet that I have is the amulet of Merlin, that gives me the Troll Hunter title and armor and sword and, like, my whole shtick. It's the Troll Hunter amulet. So it has, like, a command phrase that triggers the armor and the weapons, and then it can be released and I'll go back into the amulet, which can just be carried around, like, handheld size. Only I don't ever do that in this campaign because I like my AC.
No, that's fair.
Right?
Okay. But do we have an extra Enochian amulet that you could wear?
I have as well.
Oh, yeah, I also have an Enochian.
Yeah.
That's the only reason we saw it this long.
It kind of is, yeah. It's not like these Enochian amulets really do come in clutch. Yeah, there's a lot of still 7 deadly sins and other things in the world that would love to just scry on the parties, but like these really help. So as you guys long rest, taking this time, I will say, again, all of these plans are being discussed of, do we all stay in the car? Do we want Jim to, like, take the Pringle can with, like, someone inside just in case of things? Obviously, wherever the amulet goes, it should be immediately with someone with an Enochian amulet just to, like, make sure they can't say, ooh, it was in the car. Like, there's a lot of these very careful plans that are super smart to bring up. As you are driving and getting these rests in, I will just ask... not to sound like a simple question, but for Jim Lake Jr., it does sound like you are going to meet with Michael. At least, to my understanding, it looks like it's, yes, we're meeting, it's just figuring out the terms of engagement, if that makes sense, for the meeting.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it would be wise to have Michael running around and we don't know what he wants. I'd rather be informed.
Be informed, be inspired. Yeah. Yeah, sorry. I was listening to the radio a lot these past couple days. But yeah, Jim Lee Jr., as this kind of like realization setting in, as you're all getting ready, after you've all taken the long rest, taken time, because I will say during this long rest also is like for Jack Frost, like making sure your boots are all like laced, bow-strung with that nice elven strings. Megamind helping make sure you're fresh up on all your tech, that the car is running at peak efficiency. RJ and Puss in Boots changing out spells, making sure that, like, hey, at a moment's notice, if we need something crazy big, we can attack. You guys out in the middle of Canada, for lack of a better word, off in the very outskirts of the Volinar Empire, where at one point elven settlements may have existed but have probably faded due to the wartime efforts. Megamind, you pull over the cart into this kind of opener clearing where you're still a bit of a ways from like the mountain ranges that stretch through, and yes, RJ.
Does anyone other than me protect from evil?
I don't know.
I have animal friendship.
Wow!
I know Puss in Boots can, like, learn it on a long rest. I don't know if... I would assume Elle would probably take it, but I'm not gonna, like, let that until...
Especially before you get up?
Well, yeah, just the, like...
Okay. What I want to do is I want to have protection from good and evil on Jim here, because that will help.
Yeah.
And then...
I have spells I can prepare?
Oh, because you've leveled up.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Sitting here with, like, half my spell slots filled.
Because they're smite
Hooligans.
Oh, you can cast protection from good and evil on yourself.
I totally
Okay,
can.
so you cast that on yourself, and then I'm going to cast Summon Elemental and have a Fire Elemental sitting there with you.
Okay, cool.
Just so if anything does happen, you and your fire stuff and the Fire Elementals can, you know, just chill.
Yeah. I guess that will be telling. If he gets within, what is it, like 15 feet of me and he lights on fire, we know he's hostile.
Actually, yeah, that's a pretty... Technically, yes, is... Yeah. No,
if you walk past a hornet's nest with all the hornets just bursting into flame.
I feel like hostile too. As hostile is usually the term for like in combat, but I love the idea of like Jim, like you're out getting like morning mail, and like howdy neighbor, and this dude just bursts into flames, crumples to the ground, lifeless. Is like, oh no, I guess I didn't take out my trash the other day, and now Paul from down the road is dead. Here's what I'll also give you. Puss in Boots can definitely give you guidance. Just that, like, hey, if you need any checks, like some quick stuff, as well as...
I can give a bardic, and I also want to try and do a thing.
Yeah.
I want to see if there is a chance that Gabriel could get us some scuba tanks.
Scuba tanks?
What? I have fabricate. Or do you have proficiency with, like, crafting tools? Because we could potentially make them. I could give you... Oh, wait. Do I have fabricate or creation?
I also...
The spell scroll, 5th level.
Yeah, the 5th level, it's creation spell. The spell scroll.
Oh, I don't know what that does.
I can cast the creation spell by siphoning White Starlight.
But I was thinking of a different spell. Never mind. Moving on.
No worries, no worries. Yeah, Megamind, do you want to call out to Gabriel? I mean, this would be kind of that, like, once per session, like, hey, yo, Gabe, what you got?
Yeah, I'd go a distance away, too.
Yeah. So, Megamind, you, as everyone, like, parking the car, everyone getting out to stretch, like, we're starting to throw these spells up. You go out, Megamind, as you call out to Gabriel, you will definitely feel like there is the immediacy of, as you kind of like pray outwards, like summoning these like religious fervor, you will note that you're not immediately getting a response back. Not that that's like unnatural, but there is that like, okay, that's rough. Like, you know, hey, I sent someone a call and they didn't call me back after like a certain amount of time. It's kind of that like, well, are you busy? Is there something I'm doing? Like, but after some time, Megamind, you would get a presence in your mind, kind of via the sending spell from Gabriel, who simply says, I'm a tad preoccupied. How can I be of assistance?
For scuba tanks?
Immediately you get, what is a scuba tank?
It's a tank that's filled with air that has tubes that lets you breathe underwater or in spaces that have no air.
I'm pretty sure there's people that can help us in that way.
I'm gonna roll on Gabriel's percentile chart. This isn't like a divine intervention. You don't need like a super low roll. It kind of varies. So let me do a quick. On a 43%, you get back. Aren't most things filled with air? I thought that was the concept of an atmosphere. But if you want tanks, I will look for them. And so you may not get it like right now, but Gabriel can definitely start looking for scuba tanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was hoping we could just bamf us a scuba tank so somebody could just chill in that produce can for a hot minute.
It's a super smart idea. The only problem is Gabriel is still an angel who is yet to like truly live amongst people for the past many thousands of years, and has never really gone scuba diving, believe it or not. He actually doesn't technically need to breathe, so right.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna send. Could I do sending?
Yeah.
Too, and then just send a message to Minion and be like, "Hey, send me 4 scuba tanks through one of the robots. We'll see which is faster, you or a deity."
I love it. I was going to let you know when the timetable was going to arrive, but yeah, we'll now keep it a little more up in the air of who's faster, Chicken Express or Gabriel. So, Megamind, RJ, as Megamind's setting off this, what are you doing, RJ? And then Jack, for that last, like, before we cut to Jim.
Alright, you cut out. Who?
Oh, we'll go to RJ, and then Jack Frost, any other things you want to prep before we head into Jim Lake Jr. trying this meeting.
So, I don't want this discussion to take a long time.
Yeah.
But, theoretically, we are presented with here to promote Gabriel by killing his boss.
That's true.
I don't want to antagonize the entire host of heaven.
They can't find us, so...
But they're gonna know I did it.
How are they gonna know?
They're gonna know.
How are they gonna know?
How are they gonna know? There's no way they
Do
know.
you know anyone ever played?
It could have been any serif.
And you only have safety for 10 minutes.
It's true, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving
on.
We've got 100 rounds of
He
combat.
teleports out and we get bounced with a beam of light the size of Texas.
I mean, fair enough.
It is that RJ kind of throws us out at one point in that, like, but they would know. Jack Frost, anything? Because I know we're starting to like either do spell sending. Is there anything you would want to do to either help Jim or that you want to kind of look at in this moment?
Yeah, just for the pure visual of it, I think I'm going to change Dragon's type to electrical. So, like, I know fire would technically be better, but, if Gabriel attacks Jim one-on-one, I'm not optimistic.
Yeah.
But for the dope visuals of, like, a crackling lightning dragon just, like, curled up at Jim's feet, I'm going to send Dragon with him and just have him not really even doing anything, just there as, like, yeah, this troll hunter has a fucking dragon just hanging out with it.
And a fire
I
elemental behind him.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys.
I love it. As that goes through... Oh, actually, here's something Puss in Boots I know Elle is going to do. She's going to give Jim the spell Death Ward. So even if you drop to 0, you'll immediately come back at 1. And that, like... So even if, like, at the 10-minute mark, Michael tries some random shenanigan and tries to smite you, the second you drop to 0, boom, you're at 1 and can, like, go, right? Because that doesn't require concentration.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So, Jack Frost, as you help, like, pulling in the, like, static and crackling from the ozone and wrapping around Dragon, RJ helping bring these boosts, Jim Lake Jr. protection from good and evil going off, Megamind setting off the sending. Yes.
I have another idea.
Yeah.
Could I do a glyph of warding dimension door?
Yeah, I love it.
And then just you can have that in your pocket, so if he decides he wants to kind of try and do a smite or something and you do bamp up to 1, you could just be like, and I'm disappearing 500 feet away.
It's a trigger thing. Yeah, Megamind, you taking an hour to put a glyph into a paper that easy in your pocket, Jim. The last thing I will ask, just to confirm, do you want to desum the armor and amulet and leave it with someone? Or do you want to, like, go in a little more, like, full take of, like, yes, it's on me, but I have daylight and weapon on me. What would you rather do, Jim, in this moment?
Well, question.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the show, Jim is able to still wear the armor and use the sword while the amulet itself is summoned.
True. If I don the Eclipse armor, I can still have the armor, and we can move the amulet.
That is true. If you wish to do that, I will totally allow that in this moment. In which case, yeah, do you want to leave behind the amulet with your 4 companions?
Yes, I think I'm gonna give it to Puss.
Puss in Boots, you see, takes it, gives that, I will protect this with my life. Little wish of the rapier. But yeah, Puss is going to take this, put this into his boots, right? Like, the safest spot really on him.
Yeah, I knew you would take that. Anyway, just so I didn't walk around in daylight.
Puss in Boots puts the amulet away. Here we go. I will say then, yes, as kind of the plan is, you guys all head into the invisible car, roll the windows up, and Jim Lake Jr., you are allowed to step out as...
Okay.
How do you want to do this?
I do want to give a quick... First, as a player, my brain's kind of fried tonight, and my processing power is really slow, and so making big decisions is going to take me a long time and be difficult. So I apologize in advance.
I am not going to have an actual timer. Like, when I said 10 minutes, I'm not, like, turning on a timer and at the end being like, and now initiative. It is very...
Just because my processing is really slow tonight, and so I'm going to do a lot of it out loud.
Yes. No worries.
I think what I want to do is step about 20 feet from the car.
Okay.
And then remove the Enochian amulet.
You at least.
Oh, wait, crap. Okay. Is there any other way for me to contact you?
What you know is technically Megamind kind of did this with his Enochian amulet. Like, it's something we've confirmed. Even Gabriel can't, like, auto-find you guys unless you, like, kind of that, like, lift over your head, be like, Gabriel, and then put it back on. Again, it's the idea of you have to ask to be seen with these attunable items. It's not like the second you take them off, everyone knows where you're at. But the idea of, like... Yeah. It's, again, someone would have to be scrying or doing something at the literal exact moment you ever took off the amulet, which is, like, I would never do that. That's just a wild thing. So you can, really, Jim, it's that, like, if you take off the amulet even long enough to, like, announce yourself to Michael, you can then put it back on, and really only Michael would know. And again, as far as he has given that oath, he's not bringing anyone else with him. So you can be assured, like, you can take it off, announce yourself, put it back on, and only he could arrive. Because you've allowed that, like, I'm okay with him seeing me right now with the Enochian amulet. As you do so, all of you watch from the car, very much in the cold air. Like, I would assume, Megamind, you've, like, turned on the, like, heater, so everyone's, like, wiping down the windows, like, peering out, like, watching this exchange. The air ripples around you, Jim Lake Jr. And like as before, shimmering and folding back outward, stepping through this multicolored spectrum of space and time, Michael steps forward. You see then his wings a little more radiant and already fading behind him. As he steps out of this gateway, Michael approaches you.
I wonder what angel chick things would taste like.
Jim Lake
I'm so
Jr.
sorry.
It is a pleasure. And you see Michael holds out his hand to shake it.
I'll shake his hand.
Vice, very much that, like, it could have been a statue, right? Like, stone cold, like, very, like, almost mechanical, but not in a bad way. But that, like, Michael shakes your hand a couple times. I am very grateful you chose to speak with me. Would you like to talk here, where I could assume somehow we are being watched? Or would you like a simpler demi-plane to speak where no one can hear us? Both. And you see, when he says that, it's that, like, he's not trying to, like, well, obviously it's a secondary location, and never go to a secondary location, but it's almost that, like, he's not stupid. Again, that, like, I'm sure somehow they're here, I just can't see them. But it's that, like, on a demi-plane, no one would get this conversation, but literally you and him. Like, no angels, devils, champion. Just in that, like, he is... You see, he's trying to be, like, a good host of, like, what's your preference?
Gotcha. I would be more comfortable here.
See, Michael nods, smiles. He is going to wave his hand, and using a bit of his spell work as a seraphim, he uses a bit of fabricate and creation and creates these... two ornate chairs with a small table in front of them. Small foods start popping up as he just kind of then takes a seat. offers you a chair.
I'll sit.
Jim Lake Jr., how much do you know about me?
Honest? Not much.
Not many people do. I am the right hand of God. I lead heaven. His will is mine. And throughout the ages, I have always directed the course of heaven's interventions for the benefit of you people. Mortals, elves, orc, human, troll, aliens, raccoons, cats. I have many responsibilities, but the most important one is Armageddon. Like yourself, I have been charged with an oath, with a promise made long ago that I enact, and very much like yourself, I come seeking a chance to further Armageddon, as I'm sure you could have assumed.
Can you define Armageddon?
You see, he nods, he says, Armageddon, in a simpler term, is the act of breaking all 7 seals that currently bind my brother in hell. After which point, Lucifer and I will have a battle, whereupon I will win, he will lose, and the world can be made anew. Purged from evil, sin, anger, frustrations, darkness, perversions. A world made perfect.
Okay.
Lol.
You just say lol.
Lol. Megamind
He
in the car.
comes at us with Satan's plan, and it's...
Uh-huh.
Yeah, right.
Why are you so interested in breaking your brother out just so you can defeat him again? Isn't he fine where he is now?
You see, I do know I will beat Lucifer. But my younger brother is impetuous. You see, what we know as fate, he deems a challenge. Lucifer has set his goals in breaking the seals, destroying myself in heaven, and one day ruling this world. But that is the dream of a fallen angel. His goal is to break the seals, and his forces will stop at nothing.
Isn't your goal also to break the seals?
You see, he nods. It is ironic that our views align. It seems we are both very impatient to begin the end.
Okay, one more question. Why does there have to be an end? Why can't the world just go on the way it's been going on?
You see, Michael smiles. Well, that is something I don't know if you would comprehend. You see, Lucifer and I, our battle is not truly the end. End is a concept given by creatures who experience time in a way only they can understand. What our battle would mark is a change and an opportunity for this world, this reality as you know it, to be made new and to avoid complete destruction.
But no one on it survived.
You see, Michael takes that question. There will be survivors. It is why we enacted the champions forward. To inform others of the approaching apocalypse, to rally the nations, prepare and ensure defenses, to give examples of heroes and light so that through who the champions are deemed worthy, we can save them. But, as you know, and you see he does gesture off in the distance of Volinar, not everyone survives even with the best of planning.
You see, so if we don't break the seals, we're headed for certain destruction. But if we break all the seals, the world will be made new and there's a chance some of us could survive? Do I have that right?
You see Michael nods. I would rather risk saving someone than the certainty of losing everything. I am not the monster of this story, Jim. Monsters were made before my conception. I am simply the tool needed to approach this infected world and give it closure. And you, and at this point you see he puts a finger, kind of gesture at you, you have a chance to help this.
What would that look like?
You see, he kind of like looks, he notices you're not wearing the Amulet of Daylight. It's not on your armor. You see, he goes, the Amulet of Merlin is the fourth seal. Merlin is a very powerful being that we have not seen in some time. But at the founding of the world, with its dangers and destruction, he offered very clearly his amulet. Merlin is an odd creature. He sees time differently. He lives multiple lives and existences stretched across realities that even I couldn't try to comprehend without madness. But that amulet, that is very special. You see, not every seal is made the same. The Amulet of Merlin cannot be broken by me. In fact, he has warded it against everything, save it you. If, for any reason right now, wherever that amulet is in your companions, should they try to even scratch its surface, it may break, its pieces may look fragmented, but the power of the seal, the magic stored within, is stamped. It can never be broken. You know this. The amulet has broken before. But the seal will endure until the troll hunter, and only the troll hunter, chooses to loose the seal.
See, I take it you would have me break seal.
You see, Michael nods. The seal can be broken by you, and keeping the Amulet of Merlin intact. The amulet will still summon Merlin's armor, and of course, my brother's sword is still tied to the amulet's power itself. You see for that moment, you kind of remember, right, you think it was Zadkiel, someone told you the sword at one point. And you see Michael kind of gives that exposition here of saying, Merlin was close to my brother, and they both agreed it would be a powerful tool, a way for the troll hunter to protect the amulet and the seal itself by allowing one of the seraphim blades to be forever bound to its power. I would simply ask you to choose to loose the power of the amulet. Allow the seal to be loosed, in a way where we are ready for Lucifer. Because and you see Michael kind of almost stutters himself as he says, the hosts of heaven have the best chance of being ahead of the tide of chaos if we are able to loose the seals on our terms, in a sense that we are permitted to ensure that we are ready for the tide of forces of darkness, and you see, he does look very genuine here, you are not taken by forces of darkness and forced to loose the seal for their hands.
Understood. These are some very interesting propositions. I hope you will understand that I need some time to consider them.
You see, Michael looks at you, doesn't really react at first. I do need an answer, Jim. As there are so many forces at work, I do not simply have the time for you to decide. What should happen if while you are deciding, someone finds leverage on you? Or one of your companions decides that you are not trustworthy enough with the amulet and seeks your life? What could happen is a question that cannot be answered right now.
That is a question I deal with every day as the troll hunter. I can't be everywhere at once. I need time.
You see, he says, I will give you time then. He will kind of pull from the Ethereum a small little hourglass that, even though he holds on his side, you see sand trickles down into the base no matter what direction you hold it. I will give you 24 hours to decide. 24 singular mortal hours. You may spend them how you wish. You may use magics to stretch these hours, change them, but the hours will fade. You see, when Michael says that, he places the hourglass in the middle of the table. Know this. I will not know where you are. The amulets that were forged so long ago do prevent you from being found by me or any being of heaven or hell. But I will know when that hourglass runs out. Once 24 hours have been reached, I will have had complete understanding. And you see at this point, Michael does lean forward across the table. When that hourglass runs out, I will take every necessary precaution to ensure that you loose the seal, Troll Hunter. You cannot be everywhere at once. I can. Do I make myself very clear?
I'm just going to take the hourglass, put on the Enochian amulet, and walk away.
As you're walking away, the last thing you hear from Michael, as he just kind of, to the seat where you left, like, you know, just kind of talking that, 24 hours. I am a patient man, Jim. But do you wish to test my patience against so many lives? Jim Lake Jr., you slip back into the car. Before you are even in the car, Michael has stood up. All of the seats and table have like disappeared upon his rising, and he simply turns and walks back into the Ethereum, space moving around him as he teleports away.
Okay. Well, that went well.
Oh, I really don't like that guy.
so can we kill
He
him
was,
yet?
well, no. See, here's the thing.
We wish Enochian amulets to everybody that we know and care about.
Or
I don't know. See, here's the thing. I want your guys' opinions on this, because he's essentially asking us to choose a side in the next 24 hours, or he's going to kill everyone I know and love.
that wouldn't be very lawful good.
That's not lawful good. You're right.
So here's the thing, is because he makes some good points, and he's brought up some information that I don't know the other side to. And I'm not sure, because, like, a world without any negative vibes ever would be, like, that's not really a world worth living in, right? That doesn't sound
There's no
great.
bad, there's no good.
Exactly. So, I kind of think maybe we shouldn't let him do whatever he wants. But also, like, Armageddon and certain destruction also don't sound fun.
Counterpoint, flaming T-Rex of justice to his face.
I mean, we barely survived last time, and I feel like he's a bit stronger than the last guy.
Yeah, but we're a bit stronger than the last time.
I mean, that's also true.
Only a little. Just barely.
We're invincible.
We are so...
I've looked death in the face and he ran away, trust me.
Sure, that's what happened.
Well, I guess he's like, oh!
Is that how you feel? Okay. Yeah.
He's not going to have fun with you.
So, I want to know if maybe any other characters would know something that Jim doesn't about Lucifer and the forces of hell and the seals, and, like, if there's a good guy in this situation, like, is there a right side to this, or is our goal to, like, just put off Armageddon? Because, like, he said it's fate, so, like, is it just going to happen no matter what we do, and postponing it is just going to cause more suffering?
Can we wish away fate?
Or,
and predetermination?
Or what?
Because I think fate is a BS.
I mean, magic's real. We know prophecies are real, and you know that kind of stuff holds weight. But in terms of is it unavoidable? I mean, I think there's things we can do. We talked before or after the library about wishing all the people who died back into existence. Like, I think there are avenues open to us, but I don't think they're the good guys, even though they're trying to prevent or like beat hell. You know, I think we're the good guys.
That's the vibe I'm getting, is because, like, Lucifer and the forces of hell don't sound all that great, but Michael and the forces of heaven don't sound all that great either. Now that we've talked to him.
yeah, screw it.
Because anyone who goes around saying, I'm going to kill your entire family if I don't get my way, is not good.
Not very
We call that a bad guy.
Yeah. So then, I take it, I'm not breaking the seal. I think that's the decision.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Unless we come up with a reason that's beneficial to us, I think it's best to just plan on locking that thing down and keeping it safe.
But I can't just sign all of you guys and, like, all my friends and family to eternal suffering and torment.
Well, I'm fine, but...
Like,
I mean, he already blew up my entire
Like,
race.
I'm chilling.
Like, I'm the last one alive.
I'm down for eternal suffering.
I don't know about you guys, but I don't plan on dying anytime soon. If
That too.
you know,
No, me neither. Well, and something about the word Armageddon doesn't feel like something better than us being in a little bit of danger, you know? Like, I'll take the danger to avoid Armageddon.
about this.
How does Puss in Boots feel?
We have people, yeah.
Oh, Gabriel's the moon?
Gabriel's the moon.
I thought the moon was a different entity than Gabriel.
One and say
Man in the Moon
Gabriel
is
is the man in the moon, but right now he is kind of co-opting Eternia, the new moon in the sky, just to like do stuff right now. You could talk to Gabriel again and see what he feels. I will actually say, because Alicia, you were pointing out, like, do we know anyone who has understanding of the other sides? Gabriel, while being an angel, is another seraphim, right? He is technically the second highest being in heaven. And on top of that, I will actually point out, you do know Merlin. Like, you don't know if he might be able to hear or respond. Michael even said Merlin was there when the seals were being made. Again, Merlin's amulet, he offered the amulet and the seal way back in the day. So there's like two like NPC entities of like, hey, either of these could work. And here's something wild that like I will also point out. You did make a god called the Union. Like, if you were to maybe want to reach out to this idea of a divine being that's very neutral, so to speak, being new in all this, there is the divinity of the Union to like reach out to. There's these three kind of avenues you could try seeing who could answer.
Okay.
Maybe I'm just not as connected to the Union as the rest of the party, but I feel like if we have an unbiased, unconnected deity, maybe we don't bring them into the drama. Maybe we let them continue to exist untainted, so that hopefully after the conflict, they are still untainted.
The Union...
I think that's fair.
Yeah, that's smart.
That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, no, I think that's wise. They can still... I think the Union can still help as far as, like, protecting the people who are part of it.
I open up my wish scroll and wish to become the Union.
You pull a Kugrash on Sleeping City, start becoming one with everything. RJ is gone forever. No,
Freedom!
Yeah, no, I think that's a valid, like, maybe don't bring the Union into it, but definitely still keep the power there. That's a smart idea.
Yes.
Yeah. So I vote we move the entire city of Arcadia to New York City.
No, Arcadia is a moon.
Arcadia is my town.
We bring the people, not the
Beyonce
entire thing itself.
And I would love for her not to die. Also, my mom's getting married, and, you know, that's kind of also important. So, I think I would love to get them all over there and get some kind of protection from everything on New York City.
What are we using the trowel for again?
We haven't picked what we're using it for. We talked about the possibility of bringing everybody back into Elfin City.
But, screw those guys. We're more important.
Also, this is less of a Jack question, more of a Lincoln question, I guess. Yeah. Do we know what entity grants these wishes? Do we know where the wishes come from? Is it God? Because if it's God, a.k.a. the person that Michael is stealing power from in a very active and powerful way, maybe these wishes won't be good to use until, like, long after, you know, it all blows up.
That's a fair point. I will say, because yes, I love wish energy in campaigns. It is very hard to understand. We've yet to really explore where the wish power is really coming from, right? It's a weird idea. We have 3 wish spells in the party right now. You got a genie's lamp, basically, of a ring, a scroll, and the trowel, but we don't know what these come from. Are they coming from Zephim, right? Zephim, the god, the lord that, like, Michael serves. Are they coming from other places? Is this a natural energy or a synthetic energy? So it is that question of just, like, what would the wishes be for?
Yeah, like, how elaborate can these things be? Yeah, no, like, what bounds? Could we wish that Arcadia moves to New York City, and New York City is permanently protected by a bubble of anti-celestial force that we decide who comes and who goes?
What I would say is, again, very, like, metagame, just kind of out of it. I never, as a DM, use wish spells to, like, mess with people. I'm never a monkey's paw kind of person, but there will always be. I do very much take wish spells of there are always like consequences or like that kind of give and take of like whether really good or really bad. It could be that like, hey, I wish for 1,000,000 wishes. Great, no wish spells can ever be used again. Like, or if that makes sense, because like, where is that power coming from? The only time that's really ever not happened was our Disney. I mean, Alicia, you wish to end world hunger, right, as Kronk. But again, the consequence of that was thousands of farms sprung up everywhere. There was huge industry and railways put in place to like help feed people around the world. And that's actually a net positive, right? Like infrastructure and ways to feed people indefinitely is a good thing, right? Like, I mean, who doesn't want to feed people? But that is a example of there is still consequence of like, hey, there had to be a lot of people had to suddenly say, well, I need jobs, let me go work in the food industry because that's what I can do. Not like that's a bad thing, but we may never know what could have happened, right? A wish spell is that infinite potential energy, but if you use it in this way, we may not know, and I can even say, even I as a DM won't know until I sit down and craft that world and powers to see what could come of it.
Yeah.
Plus, we're in the ruins of a city right now, or maybe just having left a city that had a magical bubble that protected it from demonic energy, but still, there was a bubble city, and we are in the shattered shell of it, so that might not be the best tactic.
They didn't have a strong enough bubble.
Haha.
We're a stronger bubble.
Isaiah, you got it. It's like
we could
be
just
totally protected from these incredible forces.
Why don't we just wish that, like, where Eternia used to be, why don't we just bamf New York City and everyone we care about onto a copy of Earth or something where Eternia used to be.
Ooh,
I like it.
But without the angels and demons and just like a completely separate with not like an exact copy. But
yeah, basically the plane of Despondos, right? Yeah, I see it.
August was not privy to this when we first got the chickens and learned about the Trowel of Wishes. We did throw around the idea of basically taking our chicken population, creating a new plane of existence, and just piecing out of all trouble. So, like, I'm still on board with that idea. The idea that we take New York City, Arcadia, maybe Metro City, we take, like, these places we care about, and we just go, your own little Earth in this, other plane dimension.
Space plane.
Yeah, that we can access, like, whenever. Like, we could cap it in such a way where, like, we can gate spell to it.
We make the coop.
Well,
2.0, but better.
The last coop was a prison.
Actually,
we reclaim the title.
I was going to say,
we make it nice.
Yeah, reclaim the title. And what it sounds like is you could even just say, like, we want to take the denizens of North America, like, and just, take the Native Americans, the New Yorkians, the Arcadians, and just take this continent of people. We would like a separate template. That's possible. The good ones, yes. We
don't want that, like, elven trader dude to
right, like
lucking out and
technically Titan Hal is in a Metro City prison right now, so like you don't want him.
If we have everybody swear allegiance to the Union, and anybody who is a member of the Union gets put over there.
I like it.
So then we could spread the word, and everybody in Arcadia can, like, well, no, then they might get bamfed out if they swap over and then out-join the Union.
And you have, like, that 24 hours. It might be hard to really rally that kind of infrastructure in a day.
What if we worded it to where it's like, if anybody who converts or joins the union is given a one-time choice to go. So it can be, like, part of the message as we're spreading the word of the union, where it's like, you know, if you join the union, you can join the fight, or you can go to safety. And I don't know if that would be a rolling effect that would be allowed with a wish, but...
And in the very fine print, it says, if you do choose to go to this demi-plane, you give up all autonomy and are completely controlled by the members of this party. Just kidding.
And you are now our perfect little helpers. You are automatic D&D hirelings for us.
Yeah, August, we have 30 million commoners.
Cool. That's when I say, cool, we leave behind these characters, you guys form a new world, let's recreate a new party, because, like, we went...
So we're going to have them stretch across the entirety of the demi-plane and pass a rock, and then we're going to open a gate, and that gate is going to go right in front of the face of...
Peasant cannon on Michael. You love it.
Michael. And we're going to coat it with necrotic energy.
Humanity is such that every few years we reinvent the wheel.
Made a railgun.
Where are we sending people to with this wish spell?
So
we talked about demi-plane.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like, and what I could offer as a DM, you guys kind of understand enough of the plane of Despondos, where Eternia was. This demi-plane actually, quote-unquote, locked out of reality, like a really... Like, not even angels could get there, right? It's the idea of saying, asking the denizens of North America that are of good intent and not, you know, evil or aligned with heaven or hell in those harsh sides, the idea of taking these 300 million people all around North America and putting them in a copy planet out in the plain Despondos to just be there, right? Like, it keeps everyone safe. It lets you guys have the caveat of, like, could we create a way only we can get there? This idea being that whatever may happen, like, no one can use these NPCs, our friends, families, loved ones, against you.
Yeah.
Alternatively, we could wish that the invisible car can fly and rocket ourselves straight towards heaven and just go kill my
We invade heaven.
It's a 4-man, 5-man party.
Here we go.
I mean, we did it in the Disney campaign.
That's true.
We're just in reverse. Instead of hell, it's heaven. Yeah.
If the Lord would let us level up.
Thank God.
I know, rough.
More realistically, I think if we go to Arcadia, because Dreamworks Jr., you said your family is there, your mom's getting married, I'm not going to make you miss that. So,
time.
But make sure that the people in Arcadia are safe as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's where my people are.
Yes, but we don't have the time to get to the people, which is the issue right now. We have 24 hours.
Alternative plan, it's absurd, but we could wish that every time Michael does anything that may in any way harm us or people that we love, it spawns 12 Tarrasques to fight him.
The idea of lock him in eternal combat if he tries to, like, actively hurt you guys. I mean, as wild as it's...
He thinks about us, 12 Tarrasques on his location.
But what if he shows up in a village where our families are at?
And then thinks about hurting you.
But see, he had to think about that first. He had to think, I'm going to go to this place, 12 Tarrasques. Got it all 20th level wizards.
I like it. I do. I'm trying to think through the ramifications, and I feel like it's going to go wrong on us. But I like it.
We should wish that
I'm liking it.
We should wish the forcing of his mind to think about and try and comprehend the reality of Merlin's existence for a period of 1 year.
Every time he does anything to bother us, yeah.
That could be intense.
I'd like to. I'd like to say that we don't force the strongest archangel to go insane.
Yeah.
And he has to
Seems
compliment
like right now,
for a year.
there is logic there.
I was sitting here like, please wish for that. That would go hard. But yeah, no, like.
We can use this wish spell to mess with the highest level deity in this game, the DM, and wish our characters and everyone we care about into Disania. And
Nothing goes wrong in Disney.
Yeah. The other party got to play Disney D&D. I want to play Disney.
We get a fresh break from this hellhole. We get to go have Disney time. Every good things happen in that place.
Chickens.
My gosh.
Wait, but we're possible. Could we send New York City to Desania?
That's
Oh, yeah.
that's also the idea of it's a complete other reality, right? Like it's more than just the plane of Despondos, like a locked dimension reality of Disney, like put it there. Yeah, Lincoln.
I just had a thought, as Lincoln, it came to me randomly, as Jack, we're having this conversation, and I look over and I see Dragon going to town on, like, an elk or something.
Yeah.
How many wild dragons are there? / what if we wished that every dragon were to bond with... So we just... there's still going to be villagers, but if it's just like, hey, what if dragons were, like, super chill with everybody who's not hostile towards us, and all of the wild dragons just bonded with people / chickens / anybody?
Gosh.
Basically,
on the American continent.
Jump
Just
cut.
throwing that out there, because that way it's like, they're still here, they're still... we're not disrupting their lives, but they'd be arguably a lot safer, right?
Every
How
person
about this?
gets a free dragon.
We wish all of our chickenborns into being sentient dragons so that basically their personalities, their lives all stay the same. They're just dragons now. With
All the chicken born into being dragonborn.
Yeah, August, can we wish a polymorph on 20,000 people to turn them into adult dragons?
All right. So, yes, but it's... How can I explain?
Gold dragon.
We wish
The gold.
that
So they get a
all
chicken born.
chickenborn become 20th level spellcaster terrestrial.
All right.
So
Here's
my
what I
dragon
will say.
session is an actual suggestion.
Here's what I will say. I think this is where we're going to take our 5-minute break. We can keep discussing these plans, but let's go ahead and take a quick 5-minute break and be back in 5. And we are back. Thank you all so much for waiting through the break. We've been have a lot of discussions. I have heard you guys in the background even while I was prepping and doing stuff. As we are in the car, again, I will say it's been about like maybe an hour of like discussion time. Like in real life, we've been talking for like so much longer than that, but like in this time frame of there's still like a good 23 hours and even a few minutes remaining of as you guys are discussing these possibilities of what are things that could be done. We have access to wish spells and powers. And again, to keep throwing things as DM, and you still have, like, sending spells, access to talk to powerful NPCs. And again, we're not in any, like, terrible crunch. I'm not going to actually put a real-life timer on this, because there's so much that could be discussed in a real day's time. But okay. I will throw it to you guys of what do you want to approach of what have we discussed?
So my thought, well, we've talked about the possibility of using our wish spells to do things in the background to kind of hedge up like a wall against the plans that are happening from both hell and heaven. But like breaking this seal, like they want us to, so that they can't hold that over our heads. But then we have like free reign to run around, and they can't, like, they don't have as much leverage. Yeah, that's the word. And then doing our best to find Waldo. I don't know what our plan is once we get to that point, but that's what we're discussing, and I think that's what I'm personally leaning towards.
So we could go each player and just say, this is what I have in mind. And I think that will help move this along. What I have in mind is we get an oath from Michael basically saying, we break this seal, the host of heaven cannot touch us or our friends, family, and like the people we care about. That seems fair to me. And then on the background, we then do everything we can to screw over the host of heaven.
Okay.
From breaking up. We don't even need to find Waldo, we just need to make it so Waldo can't be found even further.
Smart. Yeah. I like it. It's, if you could go into a Where's Waldo book and start erasing him from pages, that's an insanely smart strat. So I love that. Okay, so we've got these two. Like, Jim Lake Jr. Alicia has brought up the idea of if we break the seal, but using wishes and our power to put up these walls is insanely smart. Braxton is RJ, we're talking of if we can just a big old oath from Michael that, like, because again, he is someone who is bound by oaths. Angelic beings seem to be really bound by law. Again, ironic since demons are and devils are the ones that live to make them. Angels naturally seem to follow of if Michael can't touch the champions, their friends, loved ones, NPCs, and in that sense of then, it then leaves a lot of free reign where we're not having to spend resources on it. Again, these two common themes of no, we do not want leverage on us, and here are ways how. I like that. Jumping to either Shane or Lincoln, who wants to throw out maybe the next idea?
Take it away, Shane.
I was still on the side of if we were going to build a wall, then it would be smart for it to be just us refusing to do it.
Yeah. It's the... Well, no, it's smart. In these talks, yes, there is an actual, like, we say no. We're putting up these walls, we're using spells, and saying we're not doing this. Yeah, that's smart. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
But that doesn't mean that they're not going to immediately then go and slaughter the family of the one who has family left. Because Megamind's like, Michael already blew up my entire planet, like, I have no family, like, I don't really... I only have Minion, and we have a wish spell, and we were planning to wish people back anyways. But, like... Yeah, but it is... I do agree with the smartness of if we even if he did do that and we eventually did break it, I think erasing any chance of finding Waldo/Kane would be the next best thing, but also a good thing because I am starting to lean towards the other plan, but
no, I think that's fair.
I'm still not there, if that makes sense. I'm just like,
yeah.
I love
refusing to ever say yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of options. Again, I gave you guys a really difficult puzzle, so to speak, of if these are the grounds, like how can we use our stats, intelligence, things we all know. There's a lot of stuff to do. This is not a black and white answer. Lincoln, any last plans or things you want to throw in of what we've been discussing to canonize and frame the arguments here?
Yes, I mean, most of it is just echoing the sentiments of the harder we can make it for the hosts of heaven and Michael, the better, and the more we can get them off of our backs, the better. And I don't know how much of our chat you heard during the break, but we discussed using several of the wishes, or discussed using a wish to do several different things. And I think Jack has kind of in the back of his mind just it would be good to hold on to one wish to get everybody back, especially he's thinking about Nicholas St. North. It's he'd really like to see, some of those people who he has lost in the conflict. But that leaves us 2 other wishes that we could do some big maneuvers with. But it's in order to do those, we have to secure the safety of our family, or grow calluses over our hearts and let them die for now, and then wish them back after. But that's a gamble, because what if we don't win?
Yeah, right.
I think there's members of this party who have attachments in that way are Jim and Puss in Boots. Megamind, you have minions,
but he would die for a good cause.
Exactly.
It's I would die for a good cause. Minion can die for a good cause.
Sure. Yeah.
It's we're fine.
Or
Jim is too young and idealistic.
Or
yeah,
we could wish for a limited version of what Waldo has on our friends and family. Basically, instead of it being such an immense thing, it could be very similar to him, but it's only against the forces of heaven. Where it's our friends and family are now basically shielded from heaven in the same way Waldo is.
Hey,
I don't know if I love that, actually.
August.
yeah.
Would we know, or if you don't want me to roll for it, that are the Enochians, were they a race of people? Is it what is Enochia?
Yeah, it's that we keep talking about this amulet. It's kind of like the idea of where does wish energy come from? Where did these amulets really come from? Go ahead, Jack Frost, give me a history check, because there's stuff we have learned as the party, but I think there's stuff that, there's history still to be gained. Guidance coming in, too.
Okay, that's a D4, right?
Yep.
It's L!
It's L. I will start bringing in L into everything that's happened. Hello! How goes?
I do
what is your bardic
thing about the seals as well.
D8 is the bardic for Megamind right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, you're awesome!
And is there any world in which Dragon could give me the help action?
Actually, yeah. I would say Dragon could give the help action. That was a perfect 8.
Yeah. I know. So let me just roll another for the advantage, and we'll see if that makes it better.
Gotcha.
So that's 22, plus my guidance, which is 24, plus history, which is another 8, or not history, bardic, which brings me up to 32.
I will also point out, that's a nat 20, my guy. That's a nat 20. So here we go. L, are you ready for a... It's a very, recap here. Just thumbs up. You ready to hear kind of what's been going on?
We're having a moment.
We're having a moment. Long story short, the party, we immediately, Trace got up, let's head out to the car. The party did notice an angel appeared where the Calamity died. RJ, snuck back the idea of RJ stayed, passed out Trace invisible, everything, and, the party left. RJ learned that the angel is Michael, and Michael wanted to talk to Jim Lake Jr. Michael basically gave a bit of an oath of, only 10 minutes, I won't bring any of the forces of heaven, no, they're champions, no, just one-on-one, just talking, nothing else, and he gave RJ the wish ring, the ring that Jim Lake Jr. found, gave to Claire, that Death took back, as that token, because RJ was like, we need a token to know you're legit, maybe a wing or some, or a feather, and Michael gave this ring as that, here's my token, here's my bartering chip of this is how serious I am. Gave a lot of stuff. I did allow Puss in Boots, because I assume you would, you gave Jim Lake Jr. both a bless and a death ward before talking with Michael, of that, hey, here's a D4, and if Michael suddenly smites you out of nowhere, here's a way to, not be dead, you just be up at 1. And everyone gave stuff, Shane did some stuff where giving, Bardics, talking to Gabriel, start working on getting, scuba tanks. Jack gave, dragon electric stuff to help Jim. RJ summoned a fire elemental as well as, guidance. All these little things. With the talk with Michael, Jim Lake Jr. learned that Michael basically explained, hey, my goals, I am like you. I have an oath. My oath is to see the 7 seals broken, to see the apocalypse continue, to defeat my brother Lucifer, and to make the world perfect and new. And some conversation went through basically learning how the amulet of Merlin was there at that final battle, and when Lucifer was sealed, Merlin offered Daylight, the amulet of Daylight, to be this weapon and seal. And Michael explained, no one can break this seal but Jim, or the troll hunter, because Merlin made it in a way where the amulet can break, it can lose power, it can be changed, but the seal, this high magic, can actually only ever be loosed by Jim. And that's what Jim realizes. Michael is asking Jim to loose the seal, to basically say, again, the idea was, hey, if we don't do this, what happens if we don't loose the seals? Michael said, well, Lucifer is always trying to break out. Lucifer sees fate as, I can win and destroy everything and rule. And it's that, do we want to take that chance? And Michael even also alluded to, there are even worse things the world is heading towards. And Michael would rather save some people, as many as you can, in that sense of, if we send out the champions, we save people, and kill Lucifer, versus if we don't do this, we're allowing a lot of bad things to occur. Now, there was a lot of stuff, a lot of tension, and it's that, how much can we trust, how much can we not, everything seemed genuine. Jim Lake Jr. asked for time, said, I'm not making any decision without time. Michael, though, gave the quote-unquote ultimatum of a magical hourglass the size of your palm, constantly draining, a 24-hour hourglass, no matter which way you flip it, at the end of 24 hours. And Michael said, you can stall, you can use magic to stretch time or whatever, but eventually the sand will run out, and I will know when it does. I won't know where you are, the Enochian amulets hide you, I can't just bamf to you, but when that hourglass runs out, I'm gonna act. And the threat, of course, being anyone that Jim Lake Jr. loves or cherishes, any of those NPCs, and also, you could even assume, to the rest of you party, any people who have helped you or things, Michael is not going to take this no for an answer lightly. Michael, right? Michael's willing to do a big power move here. So the idea has been, and this is where you actually, what you've missed is a lot of hours of us discussing what to do, right? And the consensus, what we've just come up with is, Alicia brought up the idea of, if we say yes, we have wish spells and energies to blockade up heaven out of finding Waldo, aka Cain, preventing them from doing other bad things. We could say yes, because how long do we want that leverage held over the party, right? It's yes, we say yes for now, but immediately acting against heaven. Braxton shared some similar vibes of, it's like, we could say this, but if we start some big walls, some big protections using these powers, we could really solidify down like what Michael could or couldn't do to us in the first place. Shane brought up, of course, the other option is still saying no and using these ideas of, can we wish everyone to safer places, safer beings, spells and wishes to like just say no, and like we know the storm is coming, weather it, even though pointing out like there are like a lot of shifting ideas, we might even do one or the other. And Lincoln was just pointing out there's these final ideas, but we just made a history check of could we wish for like all of our friends and family to have the same protection as Waldo does, like however he's been doing it. What if we wish for not everyone, but you know, like the good people we know to have it? Coming back into then our fun little 2-minute recap there, Elle. I hope that helps. And feel free to like text.
Enochia.
What is Enochia or Enochian? On a Nat 20, Jack Frost, you have heard stories, old tales of the man known as Enoch. Enoch was the second prophet. And when I say second prophet, it's Adam being the first, like that, chosen, like, I am now this very high-level cleric. He is that second Nephilim-esque prophet. What we know as Moses is the fifth. Like, people can be called as a prophet, Jack. Like the mantle can be passed. People can wield the staff of the prophets and be ordained. But, like, it's what we think of the head of a dispensation, a Nephilim, a child of a mortal and an angel, to be a prophet, capital P. Enoch was the second, the dude right after Adam. So after the Holy War, after everything got down, Enoch was that guy. And you would know some of this. Enoch was what many would consider not like the best to like wax poetic about him. He was a truly good person. He did a lot of good for the world, building nations, going to animals, orc, elf, dwarf, halfling, drow, multiple different planes of existence. He was that like very nomadic, like, if this is my goal, I'm gonna help people. But the key with Enoch is, and we kind of know this, Enoch created Zion, which was taken up. Enoch and the first ones, the race of people, the first ones, of course, that's what like Adam Eve technically also be considered, of like the first ones, they are a different Nephilim, a different seraphim brood. Enoch helped transport them away. And on a Nat 20, you know, it's not like they went to a heavenly plane. It's not like they went to a demi-plane. They are gone. They're not dead. They weren't dizzy. And it's one of those points of like, no one ever figured out. It's just one of those like, it became myth and legend overall of like, oh, it's because like they were taken. It's like they were so good they were translated. They weren't even in heaven. They were that good. But on a Nat 20, what you would know, and again, what I would say is, as the party, you've heard these rumors, the first ones, gone. They went somewhere and then beyond. The Enochian amulets are what Enoch made, and probably could be considered the only thing he did that may not have been heaven's will. Enoch figured out how to craft these amulets using sanctified metals, nth metal, and high magics, and imbue them with what we know as protection from good and evil, non-detection, sanctuary, like the like whole cacophony of cleric spells into something someone could wear, which allowed Enoch to move basically how he wanted to. Yes, he was the prophet. Yes, he answered to like Zephim, the Lord, and Michael, and all these angels, but he could do what he wanted. He was a man who had friends in so many places. He went to different persons, places, people. And so the Enochian amulets of, if what I will give you on Nat 20, if Enoch made these, I mean, they're named after him and the people he was with. And if we know Cain has some version, it is a very obvious one-to-one of, that means Enoch knew or somehow interacted with Cain. Like, Cain could not have gotten these at the time he could have without Enoch's intervention or help. Whether it means he stole it, or it means he bargained for it, or it means Enoch gave it away. And it means, of course, whatever he's wearing is the prime version. If it's powerful enough, like Shane helped point out, it has changed actual books of history, it has changed memory, it has changed perception of reality. I will give you this of, as a DM, it could be very dangerous to wish that same power for that many people, because how would that start affecting the world? Imagine a world where, hundreds of thousands of people bordering on millions suddenly disappeared. The people Enoch brought, that was like a city, right? And at the time, cities were like, what, maybe like a couple thousand, right? The idea of that intensive magics, of Enoch's magic, this amulet you guys now have, that's some big stuff to, like, throw around. It is still possible, if we're saying, like, what if we try to wish this for people, but those have some huge consequences, because if that's what Cain has, if that's what Enoch either gave, lost, or traded, that's some huge power poles that would infinitely shift the cosmos, and there's no way of knowing if that's a good or a bad thing yet.
We can just wish things to be a new Zion.
Well, I was going to say, with that in mind, we talked a lot about different wishes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's worth thinking about wishing for a conversation or a conference with Enoch. See if we can bring him back and see what's up.
Exactly.
See if we could learn how he did it, so we could do it to New York City.
Yeah.
After we break the seal and are able to, like, get the heat off our butts. Anyway, L.
Yeah, L, yeah.
So, here's specific collective thoughts so far. Also, nothing super hot, so sorry I'm on a pretty long time. So, number one of the wishes could be used to make a new plane 2.0. Think about it. A wish is a reality altering thing. And so we can make another plane.
Plus, we literally, I think you and I were talking about that in the car. We talked about making the Coop 2.0, but not having it be a prison and having it be a demi-plane of safety.
Yeah.
So
basically, the plane of despondence, the idea of a locked plane, something just on its own, right?
Secondly, sorry. If there's a way to, like, raise New York City, right, to this different plane, and 3, I mean, like, there's an after, but these isn't a succession where it's fearless. This is just thoughts.
August, can you mute real quick?
Feedback
for you.
Oh, what?
I didn't hear the whole last bit because I've been hearing an echo.
Yeah, so if you'll say point 3 again, and then continue forward. It was echoing through August's computer.
Sorry? I don't have separate headphones right now for my headphone, for my computer.
You're good.
I'll say my piece and then I'll mute again. Have we considered that Michael is not the best intentioned person because he is either saying, do good or I murder your family? And that's not where good should come from. It should not be a threat. Your moral compass shouldn't be based upon a constant threat of people you love and care about, or yourself. So I'm thinking we go with sweet talk him for as long as we can, and loophole new plane, get everyone there. Because the first thing I feel like because I'm not trying to metagame this stuff I know about She-Ra and Eternia and stuff, but it's very, like, coming from, as a cleric of death, nothing is ever perfect, everything will end. But with this whole end of the world Ragnarok, the gods are essentially saying, without giving any mortal a voice, well, we have to be the voice of the mortals and say, you have now given us an option to say, what if we want to exist? Flaws and all. To work through our flaws. To exist. You are actively taking that choice away from us by putting these calamities, these sins, these senses, you know. It's, there was a plan, but then, like, think about all the other gods. They were, people who worshipped other gods weren't given a heads up about Ragnarok, about the seals, right? You know, like the Incan gods. Yeah. So I feel like our new plan, get everyone, not just the nice people. Does that make sense? Like a weird, true, neutral sense of why are we not giving everyone the same chance to improve? Because no one is tied to any alignment. We are characters who make alignment-based choices. And also, I didn't mean to get so introspective about ourselves and our own lives, but we as mortals, as people, we are not inherently good or bad. We make good or bad choices. Mm-hmm. We make lawful or chaotic choices. That's it. That's the speech.
I will point
out.
So
our original, few wishes that we had come up with was definitely, our first idea was new plane, New York City, kind of like we discussed with the first time we got the New York City and such, and we were talking about the trail. Then we discussed vamping, what's his name? Michael.
Together.
We were talking about meshing heaven and hell together in a separate demi-plane so that they could just fight it out. And then we discussed putting Michael behind the seventh seal with Lucifer.
So we have,
would be sick.
if I'm getting it right, we have F this shit, I'm out. I realized I censored myself on the first one, but not the second one. F this crap, I'm out. Big sandwich time, where we just sandwich them together and we make it a to-go order, right? Or we have slider sandwich time, where we just put the two main dudes together and say, go. This is your problem.
But those were our original plans, and then we ended up on maybe in order to just keep our wishes and keep ourselves from having to deal with the fallback of, hey, I claim to be a good guy, but I'm going to kill your entire family and everyone you love if you don't do what I say. It doesn't matter if it's the same plan as the devil himself. I do what I want. If it was basically get him off our butt and then come up with a plan with having more than just 24 hours.
I will say, for L, it's not because all these plans,
You're
I
muted.
will say,
I can hear.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Because with all these plans, as a DM, these are all really solid options. That's the thing. I mean, we have thrown some.
No sound.
I can't hear August.
Okay, testing.
We can hear you.
I can hear you.
Interesting. Half the party can hear me. Half the party can't hear me.
I still can't hear August.
And I heard that.
Okay.
Can you hear me now? Sorry, yeah.
Oh my.
Just a weird Discord thing. All of these are solid options. Again, as a DM, I never want to say no to things. I really love ideas. There is so much being said, and there's true genius, like Elle's pointing out, of we have a lot of power to save people. You guys also have a lot of power to prevent end goals of these higher deific entities, and you have a lot of power in the idea of not giving them leverage. Again, it always sounds so counterintuitive, why say yes? Because that eventually leads to bad things. But it's the same reasoning I have heard of. If we say no and start using our wish spells to wish people away and doing stuff, it's the same thing of leverage, right? We are not giving Michael that power over us, over other people. And of course, there's just always the give and take of, but that does lead way into more causality for future events, right? If we're putting our friends and family into another plane of existence, that's great for now. It's something like Lincoln pointed up, and what if you lose, right? And what if we don't have this power? Or what if things change? There's a lot of variables where I will say right now, in-game, again, only about an hour has passed. It's not crazy. but I will say this is something I would love, at least for the last half hour, 45 minutes of the campaign. I think this is something where it feels like we're settling close to what you want the plan of action to be. That we have a lot of these solid plans of what we can do with wish spells, what we can do. I think it was Braxton pointing out what we could even just get Michael to swear to, right? No wishing required. Hey, Michael, we'll say yes if you also say yes to this, because he is bound by oaths, right? There's we don't have to give up wish spell energy, which is huge, because this dude is technically willing to play ball. Yes, he has a lot of threats he's offering, but like he showed with the Ring of Wishing and the meeting, he is very open to making this deal go down, right? This is a CEO who has been greenlit a lot of cash and a lot of expenses for this merger, and saying yeah, we have a lot we can threaten, but at the end of the day, we are still willing to give a lot back just because it does help technically us all. One of the last things yes, RJ.
Oh, sorry, I realized I made it say something. Go ahead.
Oh, you're good. I was just gonna say, yeah. Oh, people.
One more.
That's I was asking if people had questions. We'll go round robin. Alicia, Lincoln, Shane. Just as I saw hands being raised on my screen. Alicia first, Lincoln second, Shane third. Yes.
Okay. My thing is this is still Merlin's amulet, and I still have an oath to him. And he did put this seal on it, so he might be really salty at me if I break it. So I want to reach out and be like, "Glenn, how mad are you going to be doing it?"
Yes, reach out to Merlin.
See what other him if he wants us to break it or not break it. That can help inform how we go about this plan. But I still think this is probably going to be the best plan because that's just so much leverage and so many lives that could be destroyed just because I'm feeling stubborn, and I think it would be, we'll have a lot more freedom if we are not caught under that.
And that's, it's a decision Jim Lake Jr. shouldn't have to be the one making.
Merlin, though,
I love it. That will be something we will definitely do then, Alicia, is you can start taking that time here.
I can't hear August anymore.
What?
Oh, you're back. Okay.
Good. I was like, don't you? No, I was just working. Yes, I'm agreeing, Alicia. That is something you, the player, and the character shouldn't have to make. So yes, you can start getting ready and calling out to Merlin with the amulet. Lincoln, what did you want to add? And then Shane.
I just wanted to clarify before we move forward. Is the plan we're not using a wish spell at all, and we're just going to leverage what we can against Michael before giving him your seal? Is that where we're headed?
I think that we use wish spells to try to get back at heaven and make their life
after the fact.
After.
I think was the plan. Was that we give him what he wants, and then we say, suck it, right after we give him what he wants, and he promises not to do things. I was just going to say that I forgot one of the wish spells that we had discussed was giving every single one of the champions making their weapon an angel blade.
That was one of those buff.
Would be very useful because then that would for sure kill all angels and demons if any party ever killed one. Yeah. Which I think was also a really good spell idea that we had.
And we could do that right after we give Michael the seal.
Yeah. It's a
solid yes, or track us after we've completed our end of the bargain. He wouldn't even, he could assume, but he wouldn't know that we're the ones operating against him at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, especially if we put up a big front of being helpful.
Well, being helpful and also, kind of rolling over where it's you got the upper hand, Michael. You win.
Oh, darn.
I agree that breaking this seal is the best plan for us all. We don't lie.
What would be so funny is if we make him swear that since we think this is the best course of action, we're going to work with him.
Everyone involved.
So we would love for our friends and family to enjoy the protection of the hosts of heaven. Will you swear that their lives will be protected. That'd be really funny.
That could be good.
Probably not the best course of action, but it'd be really
solid. I love.
I did.
Yeah, both of those are solid to bring up.
Have to do their job.
Yeah. What else is Shane? Was that what you wanted to bring up, that third point, or did you have something else you also wanted to point out?
Yeah, that the point of the just the last spell that I forgot to mention of just like ideas of, hey, like once we give him the thing, these are things that we could wish for to just like give everybody a major boost.
Yes.
I still like the idea of just after having him make the promise, breaking the seal, and then just like then being like, well, and now you get to hang out with your brother, kind of a thing. Or any of our spells.
Yeah.
Like, but I do think that like having the angels or the hosts of heaven do their job and actually like protect people would be way beneficial instead of us being like, oh, you can't harm them, because then they'll find ways for other people to harm them.
Yeah.
Well, what if we make it part of building on that and what Alicia said, what if we make part of what he has to agree to is that it's the whole host of heaven has to, like, I don't know, it's the intent of what you already said, but they have to, like, actively prevent any more death.
Yeah.
Where it's like, instead of just being like, you have to promise to help, like, this is the stipulation, you have to do X, Y, Z.
Because he did say that he wanted to save as many people as he could, but then he goes around sending angels and such to, like, not do that. He hasn't actually been going to help save the few people that he said he wanted to.
Yeah.
Make him show up to his court date. Make him actually pay the fines he said he would.
Alimony from Michael.
Alimony.
Here's what we'll do. I love these important. Yes, Shane pointing out these last couple spells. Lincoln clarifying these ideas. We will do then this moment of, before we have to, take that long rest and get ready for a meeting with Michael again. Jim Lake Jr. Rightfully so, you decide I need to talk to Merlin, the creator of the amulet. A friend is a loose term, but like mentor, this person who's been there, it's like, let's talk. You reach out with the amulet, as Merlin told you, as you feel a change of magic. Arcanic electricity runs through your fingertips, down your arm, as you touch the amulet with this express thought, Merlin, I need to talk. You feel your consciousness fade in. Like when someone zones out, you see your friends again. And I will say, over these hours as you're discussing plans, it starts becoming background noise of Puss in Boots bringing up an option, RJ saying something, and everyone going, no, dude, don't do that. Like, these fun little moments, but it's becoming zoned out. Like, that ADHD, everything pushes to the background until, Jim, the world is starting to, like, slowly distort ever so slightly at the periphery of your vision. In this slow sense, you hear Merlin's voice reach out, and turning outside the car, Merlin is standing there. Yes, is this thing on? Jim, can you hear me and can you see me?
Yes, I can. Thank you for coming.
I'm glad it works. This is a new spell I've developed. I call it Unfocus, where you can push your conscious mind into reality's magical arcanic theorem while leaving yourself open. Like, all of you in the mortal plane would know, Jim Lake Jr. has, like, mouth slightly open, eyes are just glazed, like, almost, not in a gross bit of drool, but that, like, very, like, he's out of it.
How did he get weed?
Oh, no.
Why did he get weed?
Jim's having a stroke. Oh, no. But you see, cutting back, Merlin's like, it's a fascinating tool as long as you're in a safe place to do it. Yes, what do you need, my boy?
Okay, you might not like what I have to say very much, but we've been approached by Michael. You know Michael, right?
Yes. The one with daddy
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah. Say Michael.
That's a good way to
So, he's given us 24 hours to choose whether or not we're going to break the seal in the amulet. And if we don't, he's probably going to kill everyone we know and love.
You see...
And personally, I'm not a fan of that.
Merlin nods. His small white goatee pointed down. He is like kind of trimmed up, you've noticed, or maybe this is whatever reality he's in calling for. Again, it's so hard to tell. Merlin nods gravely, and you gotta know, I just rolled a 1-1-1 on my dice. My percentile was all ones, and I rolled a d4 1 for something Merlin might suggest. Merlin takes this information, takes a beat of, that is not good. Michael does not mess around. I mean, listen, you probably know I was there, or rather, I put myself there. Technically, I was yet to be born in the reality when the Holy War occurred, but I and Morgana at the time, we traveled back in time to help. Right? It was our goal of, we realized through ancient texts that we had caused a paradox of we were there even though we had yet to go, and we decided when we were ready and powerful enough, we went back in time and decided to shape history of this world. Or rather, we decided to fulfill history. My amulet is pretty nuts. I mean, you can put little rocks in it and make yourself stronger. It has super cool incantations. Zadkiel, that dude's a bro. He gave me his sword. I put it with the amulet. Thought it was a good idea. You know, just works. You have to do what Michael says. And you see, when Merlin says that, he is not being flippant at all. He has run... you have the idea. He has just run through in whatever calculums and infinite minds he has of... Michael doesn't stop. He is a force. Primal. Unyielding. He was created with one singular purpose. And like creatures with one purpose, they will see it to fruition. When I summon an air elemental to be my courier and take my mail off, that creature is born with a singular purpose and does not stop. Michael won't just stop with your friends and family. He will go to the rest of the Union. He'll seek me out. He'll seek the other champions. He'll seek everything. He would rather burn everything than be wrong. I'm so sorry. You see, Merlin looks at you, Jim. I am so sorry I ever made you a troll hunter. No one should have to deal with that. I thought you would just help me take down Morgana. She's a witch. I really can't stress enough. In Dromore, she is an awful person, and I have a lot of feelings still. My hope was you would be this power and help me. I never wanted you to get caught up in Michael or in this holy war. And you see Merlin looks really sad.
Maybe it was meant to happen. And maybe now that I'm here, I can help. I don't know what Michael's one purpose is. But we're going to try and catch him in it. We're going to make him trust some things in exchange for the seal.
Merlin smiles.
And then we're going to work as hard to keep the rest of them from opening.
Yeah, you see Merlin smiles wide. That's it. That's why you were chosen. Good. Now, be ready. I will warn you. Michael he's not stupid. But you can catch him in his thoughts. Michael loves being the smartest in the room. use that, right? I was plagued with that at one point in my life. But the second you realize there are infinite realities of people that will always be smarter than you learn one singular thing, Jim. Everything is bullshit. Nothing matters. And therefore, you get to decide what matters. If you decide what matters, Michael won't realize what matters. You see, Merlin is going to, and what on my roll is what he's going to give you is this. Use your magics. Use high powerful. Does the raccoon still have the scrolls and you that ring? Use wishes.
Yes.
But there is a way you can ride the storm. If you work with Michael, if you agree, but with caveat, that puts you in the upper hand. You make the deal and you decide what Michael can and cannot do. Let him agree to this. And then, just run like hell. Move fast. Work quickly. Don't give him a chance to realize that he's been duped, because the second the smartest person realizes they're not smart, there is a break. Once he knows he's been made, he'll not like that. But you've still got the amulets, right?
Yes.
Perfect. Keep those on. Those should last you for, well, at least until someone finds King.
We're gonna try and keep it.
Don't mention anything about King.
You kind of catch yourself. You see he goes, those are powerful tools. Enoch was an old buddy. He made those powerful. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Merlin reaches in. I have a lot of people I've seen like you. But know this, Jim Lake Jr., you are singular. There are infinite realities, but you are the troll hunter. And you see Merlin's going to reach out and pull out a stone. This polished little black agate stone. And you see he goes, I am giving this to you. Do not use it until you need to combat Michael. And I do mean Michael. Don't think like, hey, this random little low-level enemy. This is powerful stuff. This will really juice my amulet, but there's no going back from this one. Basically, it's like, Daylight, you have access to, like, upgrading Daylight in certain ways. This would, like, lock out the attunement slots for Daylight. So you could use it. It's like, just, I as a DM / Merlin is like, definitely for, like, when you have to fight Michael, or that level of, because it will lock Daylight into a singular form. You see, he gives you this. This is a piece, and I mean a piece of the highest powerful magic I've ever encountered. And as he places it in your hand, you feel the vision start fading, as part of the caveat is once you break reality of this unfocused spell, it does draw back. It's not like you can't walk into another reality and start moving things around. It's like he could do one thing, which I'm allowing on this crazy roll I did. He hands this to you, puts it in your hand. I trust you. You should trust your friends. But most of all, don't give the raccoon your wallet. Vroom! And as he disappears with that last little odd sentiment of advice, Jim, you kind of refocus, your eyes blink. You're still in the car, you never moved, but you were outside the car, but weird magics have righted themselves in your eyes.
Great. Merlin gave me a secret weapon in case we have to fight Michael, and he says we're good to go, and we should trap Michael as best we can, in his words, with this promise thing, and break the seal.
So we need to get him in a loophole-less promise.
And yeah, he has to still feel smart though. That's the thing, is once he realizes he's been duped, we're in big trouble. But if
So we
can
have
get
to
him
come up with a way to make him think that he's the one who is in Inception Dreamworks.
Yeah. So this needs to not only be airtight, but we need to phrase it in such a way that he feels like he's winning. So
Shane, I
first
just
thing
processed that you asked if Inception's Dreamworks.
No.
It could be.
It could.
I think those are our next steps, is figure out what exactly we want from Michael. And then...
How we get him to think that he is promising us something that he doesn't really care about,
right.
but is the most important thing to us.
Right. We need to convince him
to give up his leverage.
We need to convince him that what we're asking matters more than what he is giving up.
I think
it's not making sense to me, but we need to convince him that this matters.
Well, I think if we play the "you've beaten us" card and just like really go in being like, okay, but like you have to promise not to hurt us, and just the way we word that oath,
and those that we kind of a thing.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's like, okay, like like just leave us alone, or we talked about having him like actively have the host of heaven protect the mortal realm from demons rather than just use it as their battlefield.
What if we offer to help him in a way?
We could, but if we don't help him, does that then really free him from his oath? If we turn around and aren't holding up our end of the bargain,
that's true.
Yeah.
Then continue to hold up his end of the bargain.
I think if we just say things like, okay, we see your side and we see that there's no way for us to like really go on, so we're going to conceal because there's nothing else that we can do, so we're going to put this in your capable hand. We just ask that X, Y, and Z, and we're giving you the seal, we're stepping back. And if we phrase it like that, I think our chances are better.
I have one more stupid plan.
Yeah.
By the way,
we do exactly what you just said. Unbeknownst to him, we're talking about seal, as in the animal I conjured in the trunk of the car. And we give him that seal instead of the third seal, and we run like we were going to run anyways after he's promised not to hurt us. Stupid plan could work. We have a bard in the group.
Hey, if everyone rolled a nat 20, sure.
And we
what if we
speculate that it's the third seal specifically, that might work.
I conjured
we did that, but we hid the actual Merlin seal inside of the living seal. So he thinks it's a bit, but we actually did give him the seal.
You have gift of gab.
So we could say something and then bamf back 5 seconds so that he didn't hear it. But it's still part of what I said.
I don't know, because he did this outside of time.
It could be risky.
Well, not like bamf back 5 seconds, but it kind of like erases whatever it was from his mind.
Really?
So gift of gab is a very weird spell.
Because we could make use of this.
Yeah, that could be very useful, but is it better to secure the oath first and then do our trickery? Because if it goes south in the middle of it, before he's sworn to us, what's the stopping?
Then we're kind of done for.
Yeah.
Because based on what Merlin had said, it was agree, then run like hell, or like agree to help him in a way.
Right.
Make him feel like he's the smartest person in the room, but since we have the ability to not give a crap and decide what is the most important thing, if we get him to think that it's not important. But I feel like there's something that we could also find to have him do that would also I don't know. Do you get what I'm trying to go for? It's like, I feel like there's something else that we could have him promise, kind of in the woodworks, somewhere in the mix of everything that we've ever done. I'm sure there's something that we could also promise that would seem like it's useless, but if we...
DM's raising his hand.
Yeah.
I want to say, Shane, what you have just pointed out, I'm going to give you a point of inspiration for, because...
we lost you.
No!
Giving Shane inspiration.
I am giving Shane a point of inspiration because
You're still not there.
Come on.
I'm so sorry. I can't hear anything.
Hear me now. I am muted no more?
No, nothing still.
I'm back.
Sleeping.
There we go. Yes?
Yep.
I'm giving Shane a point of inspiration because what you have just pointed out has quite literally unlocked what... It's not like I had a stat block for how this encounter would go, if that makes sense with Michael. Basically, what you can accomplish with Michael is you could get one promise out of him in exchange for the seal. And any additional promise, as long as you guys promise something, it is a one-to-one with Michael. Because at the end of the day, he is gaining, because again, he gets the seal and he can easily say yes. That's how it works for him. Of you will make him feel like the smartest being in the universe. Oh no, we've lost. And that's how it works. So if you try to ask for too many things and don't have the weight to then do it, and so that's why the smart thing, like Shane's pointing out, is you could say, here's our ask in exchange for the seal, and could you also do this, and we'll do something very, not insignificant, but like, and here's our promise, right? It's a weighted balance mechanic with Michael right now. I normally don't do that with like persuasion encounters. Usually there's like checks or how you guys roleplay, but with Michael, it's a very one-to-one with him of, if I don't get X, you get Y. So if I get X, I will do Z, right? If I get the seal, I am willing to say yes to something, right? Again, Alicia had that insight earlier of Michael's that CEO. He is bringing the chips, the cash, everything. He's willing to make a lot of concessions, but concessions is then not the word. It's he's willing to strike the bargains of what settlements, what severance, what payouts. Like, he'll make it as long as there's just something for him to tangibly have in return.
So, question on that. How common are seraphim blades in heaven?
There were only 7 seraphim blades.
Okay, so it's not even something we could bargain.
Yeah. It's one of those, every one of those 7 angels had one, or technically 8, but one of the 8 right now is actually part of the material components of Lucifer's cage. Long story short, it was melted to contain him. So, like, there is only 7. And again, out of those 7, like, Jim Lake Jr. has one, Adora from the other party has another, Arthur has one. Like, they're very rare in that sense already.
Huh. The only other thing I can think... Oh, what's up, Shane?
We got a few books that might be important. I mean, we haven't really sat down and read through them to know what is in all of them, aside from, like, one.
That's true.
But I feel like there's other things that we could figure out in this, like, 24-hour time period, or, I guess, out of game, we could figure out that we could use as bargaining chips, because if we make him think that it's the most valuable thing to us, or even to him, then we can use that against him.
I have an idea. We put it as part of the clause that or part of the agreement, that when he fights Lucifer, that he sends his, like, some of the strongest of the hosts of heaven to protect the people we love. And the second that we the second we wish him into Lucifer's cage and they fight, the people we love just get hosts of heaven, like, assigned to protect them.
I don't agree with the wishing him behind the seventh seal thing. I don't see that working out the way we could really. I don't see that working out in a way that benefits us, other than we got rid of one guy, and now we don't have two teams to pit against each other. We now just have one team going all out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I've been kind of approaching it from the side of, regardless of if one of them kills each other, which I don't know that either of them, I don't know what would happen, honestly. But there's still other leaders, right? So if Lucifer dies, then that's kind of good for us regardless, because there's still, like, calamities and leaders of hell, but hell's kind of disorganized anyways. And the hosts of heaven, if Michael dies, then we just can kind of put Gabriel into place, because he's the only other archangel we know of, and we could just install him.
Well, why not just wish Gabriel in charge?
Because until Michael's removed from the equation, if we wish Gabriel in charge, Michael could seize control of the moon, or, as long as he's still a pawn, I don't know that we want Gabriel removed from where he's at right now.
Yeah. But I think we definitely would need to, like, come up with things that we can offer, or things that we can pretend to offer, or things that we can trick him into thinking are the most valuable things, as, like, bargaining chips.
Because I would then say, to give the example of the first bargain, or the one that always is brought up that you guys have been saying, if the seal is loose, if Alicia as Jim Lake Jr. chooses to break the seal, like, to expel that power, in exchange, you are asking Michael to protect basically everyone, of, like, actively send the hosts of heaven to protect not just, like, our friend, but, like, nations and people. Like, stop, actually do something, right? That is, I would even say, like, you would know that's a set deal. Michael's willing to, like, well, we can't just be a buddy team club up in heaven anymore. We actually have to work. But that's something immediately he's willing to do because it's a seal on the line. Because, like, Shane, the idea of, like, we have these books and items and things, it does take a lot to be on the level of a seal. That's what also I mean of what Michael's willing to do, of what you have to put up against, is it would take a lot of convincing or a lot of power to, like, match it, but that is how it's gonna work, of what's the balance, what is the law of equivalent exchange in Michael's mind, where at the end of the day, we know it's equivalent exchange or less, but Michael thinks, but I still got the seal and all these things that I was already ready for. Like, it still looks to him like it's what he wanted.
We're the only ones who know where Kane is.
Yeah.
We are not giving that away.
I mean, well, yeah. But that's something that we know. But that he doesn't know we know. Yeah, I'm just trying to think.
Yeah. Right.
Ideas.
Don't we need to go lock up? We actually don't need to go lock up tonight, but I do need to go to bed.
I would
work in the morning. So I think this would actually work really well as, like, in the Discord throughout the week, if we put in ideas to work out what we are going to ask for Michael.
Yeah, if we take real world time to figure it out and button it down.
Yeah.
I will then say, because actually I don't have next Monday. I've got some show stuff going, but I think I have the Monday after, right? This is where we will end the session with this, like, the day, the 24-hour timer's running, and we're super close. Again, it's the idea of we're ready if breaking the seal for concessions. That is where we will end tonight's session. Thank you all so very much for playing. Thank you all for listening. I cannot wait to see you all next time. Bye-bye.